Welcome to the mythical creatures.
Fairies have long captivated the human imagination, appearing in folklore and myths from cultures all over the world. Often depicted as small, ethereal beings with delicate wings, fairies are not merely innocent sprites. They exist on the boundaries of good and evil, light and shadow. These enigmatic beings can bless, protect, and inspire. But they can also trick, curse, and torment. Their moral code is far removed from human understanding, and their behavior, whether benevolent or malevolent, is dictated by their own mysterious laws. Fairies occupy a unique space in the supernatural world, balancing between nature and the other world, a magical dimension from which they are said to originate. As creatures both feared and revered, fairies have long been associated with nature, magic, and fate. This exploration delves into both sides of fairy nature, tracing their good deeds as well as their darker, more sinister actions. Fairies, or the Fae, are mythical beings that typically inhabit natural environments, like forests, meadows, or caves. Their origins vary widely depending on the culture, but they are often described as nature spirits, elemental beings, or remnants of ancient gods and goddesses. Some myths portray them as fallen angels, not quite good enough for heaven, but not evil enough for hell, while others see them as supernatural creatures bound to the earth and its cycles. Their physical appearance is just as varied. Fairies are often depicted as small, beautiful beings with gossamer wings. But in other traditions, they can appear as full-sized humans, or even as animals. They are commonly associated with the other world, a parallel dimension where time flows differently, and which is often said to be the source of their power and immortality. Despite their often charming appearance, fairies are ambivalent beings, not bound by human morals. Their actions can be helpful or harmful, kind or cruel, depending on their mood, the situation, or how they perceive the humans who interact with them. Fairies are known for their capacity to perform acts of kindness and generosity, often assisting humans in times of need, protecting nature, or bringing joy and love. Their good deeds reflect their deep connection with nature and their magical abilities, and they are often portrayed as beneficent beings, if treated with respect. Fairies frequently assist humans, especially those who are kind-hearted or in need of help. In Irish folklore, there are stories of the Leannan Sidhe, a fairy muse who inspires artists and poets to create great works. Though sometimes at a cost, many fairies offer guidance, protection, or magical aid to those in dire situations. Fairies are also known for their healing powers. In many folk traditions, they are believed to have knowledge of herbs and natural remedies. They might cure illnesses caused by other supernatural forces or offer comfort to the sick and dying. Fairies are often seen as protectors of the natural world. They are deeply tied to forests, rivers, and wildlife, ensuring that nature remains balanced. Some tales depict fairies assisting farmers, encouraging the growth of crops, or protecting livestock from disease. In return, those who treat the environment with respect are rewarded with good fortune. In Icelandic folklore, fairies, or huldufólk, hidden people, live within natural landmarks like boulders or hills. It's said that disrupting these areas can anger the fairies, but those who respect these places are granted blessings, such as fertile land or protection from harm. The idea of fairies granting wishes is a staple of many folk tales. These wishes are often a reward for good behavior or an act of kindness toward the fairies. A famous example is the fairy godmother archetype, who grants magical gifts to help someone in need, as seen in the story of Cinderella. Fairies can also bestow magical objects that bring good fortune, like enchanted rings, stones, or tokens. However, fairy gifts are sometimes temporary or conditional, with the possibility of disappearing if the recipient becomes greedy or ungrateful. Fairies are frequently linked with love and merriment. Trooping fairies who travel in groups are said to hold grand festivals where humans are sometimes invited. At these celebrations, mortals might find love or joy, and some fairies even help mortals find their soulmates. Fairies can foster harmony and happiness in homes if treated kindly, often taking on the role of household spirits who perform small tasks in exchange for offerings of food or drink. While fairies are capable of acts of great kindness, they are equally known for their capacity to cause harm. Many fairies enjoy trickery, while others can be outright dangerous, especially if offended. Their darker actions range from mischievous pranks to life-threatening curses. One of the most feared fairy activities is the abduction of human children. In many cultures, fairies are believed to steal babies and replace them with changelings, fairy children, or elderly fairies disguised as human infants. These changelings are often sickly and behave strangely, causing distress to their human families. Parents who suspected their child was a changeling would sometimes resort to extreme methods to try and force the fairy to reveal itself. The fear of changelings was particularly strong in Celtic and Germanic folklore, and there were many superstitions aimed at protecting infants from fairy abductions, such as placing iron near the cradle. Fairies are also known for casting curses or inflicting punishment on those who cross them. A slight against a fairy, whether intentional or not, can lead to years of misfortune. For example, a farmer who unknowingly plows over a fairy mound might find his crops blighted or his animals sickened. In medieval Europe, elf shot referred to illnesses thought to be caused by invisible arrows shot by fairies or elves. These illnesses could only be cured by magic or by making amends with the fairies. Fairies often punish those who fail to honor their traditions. Failing to leave an offering, trespassing on fairy lands, or showing disrespect can provoke a fairy's wrath. In some cases, this might result in something as simple as a prank, but in more serious cases, a fairy curse could ruin a person's life. Fairies are notorious for leading humans astray, especially travelers who venture too close to fairy realms. Will-o'-the-wisps, or fairy lights, are glowing orbs of light that lure travelers off their path, often leading them deep into forests or swamps. Those who follow the lights can become lost for hours or even days, and some never return. In other stories, fairies create illusions that make the landscape appear unfamiliar, causing confusion and despair. These tricks are often played on those who have offended the fairies, although some fairies are simply mischievous and delight in confusing mortals. Fairies are quick to seek vengeance when wronged, and their retribution can be severe. In some stories, a fairy might curse an entire family, causing generations of bad luck, illness, or death. Crops might fail, livestock might die, or homes might be haunted by restless spirits as part of a fairy's revenge. In certain legends, fairies can paralyze or strike a person as punishment, rendering them immobile or unable to speak for an indefinite period. This fairy strike is a powerful curse and is considered a serious offense in folklore. Fairies represent a complex blend of both light and dark elements in mythology. Their ability to perform acts of great kindness and generosity is matched by their potential for trickery, vengeance, and cruelty. Humans who approach them with caution and respect may find themselves rewarded, but even the smallest offense can lead to disaster. Ultimately, fairies exist outside the boundaries of human morality. They follow their own rules, and their actions are often dictated by whims and caprice. This makes them fascinating and enigmatic figures, embodying the unpredictable nature of the supernatural. Whether they bring blessings or curses, fairies continue to be some of the most captivating creatures in folklore, reminding us of the thin line between magic and danger in the unseen world. Fairies, as complex and multifaceted beings, will always inspire awe, fear, and wonder, reflecting the mysterious beauty and peril of the natural and supernatural worlds alike. Fairies can also bestow magical objects that bring good fortune, like enchanted rings, stones, or tokens. However, fairy gifts are sometimes temporary or conditional, with the possibility of disappearing if the recipient becomes greedy or ungrateful.
Thanks for watching. It will be nice to see you again in the world of mythical creatures.